Hello everyone, my name is Anderson Yahobi, and in this session we want to talk about gesture drawing, and I'm going to use New Masters Academy channel on YouTube. I think it's the best reference that you can find out on the internet. So before getting started, let me talk about some rules and some, the procedure of drawing gesture, because it's important to know what we are looking for in drawing gesture. So let me write down here what we want to talk about. Gesture is all about movement. So while you're looking at the model, you don't want to look at the contour lines or shapes, structure, other things. We just want to focus on movements, and that's what we have to do. And in my previous records and videos in my channel, you can see that I talked about the process of translation that we have from the model into visual language, which is gesture and structure. So I don't want to get through that. Let's just today talk about gesture drawing and these steps that we have to go through when we want to do that. Okay, before starting drawing gesture, you have to know different parts of the body. Generally, we have 8 parts. And also, now you can think about them. What are these 8 parts that are important, that impose the movement of the body? First of all, the most important one is spine. Spine is really important because all the movement that we see is created by spine. So, and then head, ribcage, and pelvis, they are connected to spine. So I'm going to also write down head, ribcage, and pelvis. And after that we have arm and legs. So 7 and 8 are legs. So these are 8 parts of the body that you have to look for when you want to draw gesture. So you have to know what are the different parts, what movement you should be concerned of, and so that's why I told you these 8 parts. Next thing that you have to consider is the quality of line. Let's talk about line, because the only thing that we are going to use now is line. We don't want to, add line shadow or shapes and other things. So we are going to talk about them maybe later. But now we just want to focus on lines and the quality of line. So we have something here called elements of design. We want to design our drawing. It's more thoughtful drawing. We want to analyze what we want to draw. So that's why I call it design, because we want to design forms, shapes, and lines. So it's kind of a knowledge that you have to gain. So we have 3 elements, 3 important elements for design. First of all, we have line. We have chiaroscuro, which means light and shadow. And we have also no tan. No tan means dark versus light. But different qualities of line that we can use is economy of line, and diversity of line. So let's talk about their meaning. What I mean by economy and diversity here. Economy means a range of, the quality of being light or dark. So you are giving a kind of difference, a new quality to your line. When you change it, when you darken your line, when you make it light, it's important also to choose which one works for you. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then diversity of line. We have different types of lines, like we have soft lines, we have hard, firm, and lost. We have these types in diversity of line, but maybe now we are more concerned with economy of line because that's really important. For example, when you want to show and create a kind of illusion of depth in your drawing, you may darken what's closer to you and then just leave the lines that are farther light. So you can see that. You feel that this square is closer, and then the other one is farther from you. So we are creating an illusion, the illusion of depth, by using economy of line. So we don't want really our drawings to be flat. We are trying to create a kind of depth, a sense of volume in our drawings by arranging our lines in different ways. So it's just an example of the economy of line. I think it's not the time for talking about diversity of line, because in the chiaroscuro or light and shadow we have to talk about that. So other things that we can talk about are, we have to talk about symmetry and asymmetry. That's also really important in our drawings. Okay. It's another rule that you have to store in mind while you're drawing. Don't make marks that are symmetrical. You know why? Because we want to draw the eye of the audience into different parts of our drawing. And we don't want to create a boring and tedious drawing for the audience. So, for avoiding that, we have to use asymmetrical lines. Also, these asymmetrical lines, we can see them in nature. We can see them in our body. So why I told you that we should not use symmetrical lines? Because you see the eye would be stuck here and it cannot go further. But in an asymmetrical design, we can create a kind of zigzag movement through these points. So they are invisible, but you are creating this effect for the viewer, you know. So you're making your drawing more interesting and more attractive. So let me write down here symmetry and asymmetry. I'm gonna show you guys in a practical way how we can use these theories and rules later. So now we can talk about other thing, which is repetition and timing. It's all about creating movement. So when you repeat anything, you create movement. Visually, it's a visual rule. And when you repeat something, you create movement. It could be any shape, any line. But also you can change it in a diminishing way, like this, or the opposite way. Circles could get bigger and bigger. So now you are also creating a movement. And then you can also create illusion of depth by repeating these circles, but one after another with overlaps. When they overlap each other, look, I'm creating this illusion of depth, that this circle is closer and this point that we have is farther from us. So you see, when you know what you're doing, it's not just an imitation. It becomes more, you're aware of what you're doing. So it's not just copying what you see. When you know these rules, you can create what you want. But when you don't know them, it becomes really hard for you. So you just it happens to, you just copy the model what you see. But why we have to learn these things is because at last we want to create, and when we don't know these rules, we aren't going to be able to create new forms because we don't know the rule of nature. So that's repetition and timing. About timing, when you repeat your lines like this, here I'm repeating short lines, so your eye is going to move from left to right, and the movement is going to be slow visual movement. And now I want to add another long line like this. You can feel the difference. The movement here is faster, so we have a faster visual movement. So remember, anytime that you draw long lines, you're creating a fast visual movement. Let me correct it. Fast visual movement. So what's the point here? We want to balance our drawing. We want to use both slow and fast visual movements. So because of that, I'm going to add another group of short lines in order to create kind of balance here. And as I said, I'm going to show you also in drawing gesture how we can use these rules in our drawings. So if you have any questions so far, you can comment this video, you can ask me, and also I'm going to answer them as soon as possible. Okay, next, now I think we have the basic knowledge of shapes, lines, repetition, symmetry and asymmetry, and quality of lines. So now I can tell you the steps of drawing gesture, which is also really important. We cannot start drawing gesture from anywhere we want. It has its certain steps that we have to know. So now I'm going to tell you what you have to do when you want to draw gesture. So first, when you want to draw gesture, first thing that you have to draw is a circle for head. I'm telling you the basic way of drawing gesture. Maybe later on I'm going to upload another video for more advanced students. But now I'm just talking about a basic way of drawing gesture. So we have different steps for drawing gesture, and then I told the first one, which was drawing a simple circle for head. So first step is to drawing the head. Next, we have to look for the movement of spine. We already talked about different parts of the body, and the spine is the most important one. And now I have to tell you that spine has three different parts: cervical part, thoracic, and lumbar. In cervical part we have 7 vertebrae. In the thoracic part we have 12 vertebrae. In the last part, which is lumbar, we have 5 vertebrae. So you have to be also you have to pay attention to the length of each part. So you don't want to draw, long or short spines. You have to always draw it in the normal way. It depends on the model. Always you have to look for what you're drawing. Look in the model, look at the different sizes, the length of the spine, and then I'm going to show you that. No worries. Head, spine, and next step is to draw torso. Fourth step is drawing weight bearing leg. If the model is standing, we have to draw first the leg which is bearing the weight. So we call it weight bearing leg. I just write it down like this. And then we have a supporting leg. We have to draw a supporting leg. And next, the last step is to add arms. So that's what we have to do. And now I'm going to use my reference here, New Masters Academy. I'm looking for a simpler maybe model. This one is good. So we have 1 minute, but at this stage I'm not worried about the time. I just want to show you steps and how to draw gesture. That's really important. So as I told you, let's recap the steps here. First, head. Then we have to draw spine, torso, weight-bearing leg, supporting leg, and arms. That's what we have to do. So you can see that a simple circle for head. And now I'm drawing cervical part of the spine. This is the thoracic part. It goes to right. You can see that they have opposite directions. So cervical, thoracic, and lumbar part. After that, we have torso. We have to draw a torso. I'm just going to repeat my lines. I don't care about contour lines, muscles. I just want to get the motion, movement. So that was torso, and look, I'm not trying to draw symmetrical lines. Otherwise it would be something like this. I don't want that to happen when I want to draw legs, for example. That was weight bearing leg, and now I want to add the other one, which is supporting leg. Look, they have the same direction. And last step is to draw arms. And by the way, always use 2 lines, because we want to create this movement inside, inside these lines. We want to draw the eye of the audience toward different parts. So in order to create that movement, we ought to use 2 lines. 2 lines that are not symmetrical. No, we are not looking for that. We just want to use a symmetrical pattern, or the lines that have similar movements like this. And then on top of these lines we can add maybe other directions, but let's keep it simple. I'm just getting the movement of this arm. And I think that's enough for, a 1 minute quick sketch. It's enough. So we don't want to add details or add shapes or structure to our drawing. We're just thinking about movements, and we want to create a kind of harmonious movement. So it's about analyzing the body, gesture drawing, and we don't want to copy what we see. We want to understand what's happening, what's going on. So every time that you practice gesture drawing, you are going to obtain a keener observation, because observing is different from just looking at the model. We are observing the model because we are analyzing what are the movements, gesture, and maybe later forms, structure. So observing is something more profound and deeper than just looking at something. So that's that about gesture drawing for this time. I just wanted to give you a quick demonstration about gesture and its steps, different parts. Also, I told you some points about quality of line, and for sure we are going to move on, and I'm going to also upload new videos about gesture drawing. So I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share with others, and if you get any question, ask me. And if you want to know more about my online courses, contact me with you can email me, you can direct me on Instagram, ArtStation, and other things that I have. So goodbye.